Hello everyone, Mario the Pieman here for some more Star Trek Online. We are rejoining Drakhara. Now for those who came in late, we just started a new storyline, so continuing on from the Iconian Gateway we'd found under New Romulus, we were now visiting it and we restarted it. Met Worf as well. That took us to kind of an extra dimensional area where we were briefly captured by the baddies from that episode of TNG where the crew are getting kidnapped and having various weird operations done to them and then returned. One of the side effects for our escape and for stopping some seismic activity on New Romulus was that we created some gateways, which you can now see sitting here. So there was some sort of omega particle thing, so we are now going to go through and see what's going on in this gateway. I think there's meant to be some dialogue over here. I could be wrong. Oh, I was in space. Well, let's go talk to this lad. So, not voice, but he's saying, "Welcome to the Delta Quadrant. A journey that once took 30 years at maximum warp now takes mere minutes." Did we go as far as Voyager did? He's going, "Not quite. We're in the border of the Delta Quadrant. Specifically, we are within the Solanae Dyson sphere, a spherical structure built around a star. The sphere itself has a diameter that's nearly 200 million kilometres, the equivalent of 250 million M-class planet surfaces." So I'm asking him how much of the sphere has been explored. He's like, "You're looking at it. The sphere is huge and it could take us a lifetime to completely understand it. Its construction and technology. We're taking it slow until we know more. That's where you come in. We could use the help from the RRW inevitability before we get started. Though Sub-Commander Kale wants you to receive a briefing about omega particles from the Chief Scientist." Well, I'll go and speak to the Chief Scientist then. So I've got to go and speak to a Chief Scientist. So yeah, this is the inside of a Dyson sphere. We have this kind of social area built, sort of Earth space dock equivalent. And up here we will have a Chief Scientist. So this is the Chief Scientist saying, "Hello, Admiral Kale has asked me to be brief as there's a lot to be done. We found massive amounts of omega particles being produced within the Dyson sphere. These particles are extremely unstable and when detonated will damage subspace, making warp travel impossible in the vast areas around the detonation site. In the past we've only to deal with small amounts of omega particles. Now we have a structure that is mass producing them for an unknown purpose." Saying, "What's the plan to neutralise the particles?" "The plan is twofold. First, we must find and destroy the existing omega particles. Secondly, we must discover what's producing them at such an alarming rate and stop it. The Federation and the Klingons have agreed to join in an alliance, because we keep forgetting they're still at war, with the Romulan Republic in order to see this done. These particles threaten us all. This would be simple, except for, well, perhaps it's best if you hear more from Sub-Commander Kale. He's asked to speak with you." I'll go and talk to him then. Let's see what Sub-Commander Kale has to say. Oh, he's through this door. So we have seen an interior like this in the last mission. So we can assume we were in a Dyson sphere. Now, I'm going to say I am curious as to what will trigger here, because there's something which might actually trigger with Kale. Sort of another mission thread, so we'll see what happens.
"Welcome to the Solanae Dyson sphere.
Oh, hi.
My name is Sub-Commander Cole. This is
Cole.
the main
Oh,
command center for
mispronouncing his
Joint
own name.
Alliance Command. A multi-species task force willing to work together toward a common goal, for now
the
at least.
Chief Scientist mispronounced
The
your name.
gateway you use to get here is in Republic space, so the Republic is taking the lead here as well. Our mission? To destroy the omega particles this sphere creates. and neutralize its ability to generate
Oh,
more.
he's on the edge of his seat.
The first scouts into the sphere confirmed that it was producing massive amounts of omega particles for an unknown purpose. Given enough time, this sphere could produce enough omega particles to completely annihilate warp travel in all known quadrants of the galaxy. We thought this would be a sweep and clear operation, but we were waylaid by a species known as the Voth. The Voth claim to be natives of the Delta Quadrant, are extremely technologically advanced, and they want the sphere. Now we're in a fight for control. The Voth are determined to gather the omega particles. We're still determining why, but this is a threat to all warp-capable civilizations. I can't stress enough how important it is that we stop the Voth and neutralize the omega particles. There's a lot to do. Shall we get started?
Yeah, okay, let's get started. That's the other mission. I'm not going to look at that one yet. There's a second sort of mission that pops up when you, as you complete the reputation thing, and I'd quite like to get it done so that I can show you it, but show you it in all, because it's basically a little story that gets told. So he's saying you're ready to continue, so yes I am. So I'll go supply woes. So the mission next, which I'm just going to go and do, is while the minefield helps keep Voth ships from entering Allied space en masse, occasionally the Voth will slip one or two small vessels through with their advanced cloaking devices. We have a range of tachyon probe frequencies that can sometimes detect Voth ships, but we need to get up close to have any chance of success. We want the RRW inevitability to search this zone for any Voth ships that might be hiding. So I will accept that. So I've got to return to my ship. So this is quite fun. It's a big social area, basically a big area where lots of players can join and things. That has its pros and cons.
We run missions here from Joint Command, the center of all Allied operations. This is the supply depot. We use it to ship supplies to our forces and to store any unusual or dangerous technologies we find here. This region is the minefield. It is used as a barrier to keep Voth forces out, although some still slip by. And this is the ion stream, a series of structures moving a high volume of charged particles and exotic radiation through the area. Each of these areas could use your help. Good luck.
So that's what this is. This is kind of an intro to this zone. So you can do this, and you can just go in here and do missions to earn Dyson sphere marks. I'm going to do one thing. In fact, I can't remember if there's a couple I can do here. There are a few little. As I'm moving towards supply, the one downside of this, and probably why they've never made one again, is it's quite a big area. And so even at full impulse, you tend to find it takes you a while to get anywhere. But you can't see something like this floating about and not try to... I can't remember if it's in this one or if it has to be in another part. It must be another part. Oh no, flew under the spire. Technically it didn't. Okay, the other one. See, piling towards the ground here. Oh no, the next one you get that. There's an achievement for getting as low as possible. Although you can get some quite neat photos of that sun in the way, so it's quite scenic. I mean, I actually quite like it as an area. But I can kind of see why they've stopped throwing a lot into these, because it's not a fan base. The game doesn't seem to have a fan base that particularly likes either PvP or group cooperative things, so
Enemies fought as a result of an area mission will appear
so yeah, you sometimes find that yeah, they're a lot of production for not much reward. So here's some of the Voth. Well, the Voth figures do this thing where they kind of become a decoy. That's sadly what a lot of this is fighting both ships. Again, these might not be the most interesting videos. I'm trying to work out whether I just do all this stuff as one or if I split it into two. Kind of going to see how long it takes. Now, there is another trick. I'll point it out when it comes in. Another thing you have to watch out for health. For all they've got advanced close technology, it seems to. The thing to watch, he's going to explode. Sometimes their ships don't detonate, and you get like a repair ship coming in. You've got to watch those because they will bring the ships back up and running. So our next thing is we've got to go and find the USS Hypatia and the ion stream. So it does sadly, while we're cruising along, I'll let you see some of this area. So they have done quite a nice job at building an interior of a Dyson sphere, giving you that idea that you are inside a vast structure, loads of territory. It's quite a nice aesthetic to it, so I was quite impressed when this came out. Because yes, I'm a long enough player now to remember when this launched, which is quite something. So, yep, we will find the USS Hypatia. Got a bundle of local ships here, but yeah, there it is. Got to hail it. So we've hailed it, and the officer there. Good to see you, Admiral. See, the ion streams, the energy in them can be rerouted to power cells of a starship and delivered to other areas of the sphere. Energy helps us understand how the sphere activates. Can the inevitability take some ion stream's energy to our tower in the minefield? Yeah, we can do that. So this is what we've got to do, is go to a couple of these towers. There are also found missions you can do, so you might see things lying around which we've got to do this 3 times. There are things around which you can find as little missions, and again that was the idea. It was to build up, I can't remember the reputation system. No, it had been in since New Romulus, but it was the idea that you'd come in here to do things to pick up reputations. And in fairness, I don't think they've really done a reputation since the Discovery stuff that they did, because I don't think they were that popular. I could be wrong, but I think the reputation system kind of proved to be just a thing which people saw as a chore. So I think they diverted a lot into just producing content. But I quite like, these areas are interesting. The problem with a big communal area like this is that you've got to try and build the things in it to work if there's like 30 players in, or if there's like 2, and you can't have a zone that's just going to keep kicking your teeth in when you don't have enough players in there, because particularly if you are going to make missions out of it, it's going to make people's life a bit unpleasant. Now that's not to say there's still problems. Any public area will have problems, and I'll point out some of those when I see them. You might see them, you might not. I might be able to highlight this, but it does come from when you're in an old game with a player base has been around for a while. So guy in the tower said we'll put the energy to good use, but we need more help. The minefield is the last line of defence against the Voth moving in from the contested zone. Several of our mines have stopped working and we don't know why. Can the inevitability scan some of the deactivated mines and determine the problem? Well, I can do that. So this is the minefield, although it looks more like a set of force fields, but let's not be pedantic. Yeah, see, that Quopiv would be a found mission. In fact, I wonder if I can. There it was. So I can show you a found mission. I might as well show you. So he's asked, what do I want? Well, I kind of thought you were here. What's the Quopiv doing in this area? He says we're outfitted for mine laying. primary role is to maintain the defense. Your assistance could occasionally be valuable with additional tasks. So that's kind of for a mission rather than that. It's a thing to take shuttles in. But if I see a proper found mission, I will trigger it. They're usually just tasks like scan things, fight ships, etc. So we have some disabled mines in here.
Warning.
Oh.
Ship is under attack.
Oh, some probes, some swarmers.
Target shields have failed.
Don't know if me being near the mines triggered these, or if these are triggered from a different event. Someone's left them lying around after their thing. It's hard to tell. So we're scanning the mine. Says it's definitely remotely disabled, but I'm having a hard time getting further readings. But we'll go and look at another one. Kev. So here's the next mine. So again, just do the same thing. He said it's missing some crucial parts, maybe that the mines weren't assembled properly. Could be. Again, this area, if you notice, the last part was quite bright. This is definitely looking a bit more foreboding. Now you might have noticed there's a stranded drawing on the warbird there. I will go and take a look at that, because I think that's one of those found missions. So he said the Voth are transporting parts of these mines. We contact Joint Command with information. So, Star Commander Cole, thank you for your assistance, Admiral. You said that the Voths are remotely disarming mines, but be it transporting parts out of them. We'll see what we can do to get around that. For now, you and the inevitability are needed somewhere, specifically the contested zone. Speak with me again when you're ready for your next assignment. We get a free thing. So the next mission will be the contested zone. So we've got more operations outside the zone. The contested zone is right near our borders. It's where our forces are currently engaged with the Voth, both in the atmosphere and on the ground. It's a constant fight for control in this area. If we slip, the Voth will overwhelm us. We could use your help out there. So that's what we're going to look at next. Now, believe it or not, I will maybe take a wee... I'm going to try and have a look at this. If we can find this stranded warbird that we saw previously, or if it's gone. I think sometimes these missions do pop up and vanish, so it does seem to have disappeared. Oh well. Can't show you that. So, yep. So, we've not really been recording for long enough that I think it would make for an episode, so I am going to actually go in and do the contested zone. I might just go through all of the Dyson sphere gubbins for one episode. So you're getting extra long rather than extra short. I'll see how long things take. So, we're cleared to travel to the contested zone.
This is the contested zone. Our forces here are in a constant conflict with the Voth. There are 5 fronts in the zone, and each of them need your help. Here, we are fighting the Voth over towers that are critical to our control of the zone. I would advise you help only if you have other starships to provide support. In the center of the contested zone is the battle zone. Commander Arnold is leading the ground fight there against the Voth. He needs anyone who's willing to assist. Make no mistake about this. The contested zone is an active conflict. Be careful out there.
So, now we know the area. So, Cole's come back. Missing the ally zone yet? I hope not, because I need every ship to push the Voth back. If you're ready, I have more orders from you. The next comes straight for Commander Arnold in the ground battle zone. So, there's a war waging as we speak in the battle zone. Commander Arnold is commanding Allied force and attempt to gain control over Omega particle silos. Unfortunately, the Allied forces there are too understaffed and under-equipped. They're too far away from the supply depot for us to reliably send supplies and shipments. So he's asked for forces. Can we spare them? So this is the ground part. And this zone tends, for my money, to show you the problems with these areas, and we might see it as part of either this, in that I might not be able to show you everything that there is to see, or in this other area where it makes one of the missions slightly difficult to complete, depending on who's in your zone. One of the things that's worth knowing about Star Trek Online is there's some people who are really good at building ships. They can make ships deliver apocalyptic amounts of damage. The downside is if you've got a mission which is going to ask you to destroy X number of these ships, you might find yourself struggling to actually do that. So what we've got to do now, there's actually other things going on here. Oh yeah, I think I forgot there was a little award I can get. Again, worth taking in some of this scenery. There we go. Bumped the lower atmosphere. Right, you might see something going on. I'll see if I can show you that later. But for the moment... So I'm actually going to change my officers because it's better to have a mix rather than just take a whole tactical team.
This is the Voth battle zone. Our goal is to take control of at least one Omega particle silo. Here's how we do it. This is a map of the battle zone. There are 3 regions, each made up of multiple capture points. When the Voth hold a capture point, it is red. When we take control of a capture point, it will change to blue. Capturing points advances us towards our goal, represented by this meter. When it is full, we can make our final push to stop the Voth at the Omega particle silos. We must capture at least one of these silos to claim this battle zone for the Alliance. Good luck.
There you go. Trust that's all self-explanatory. So, just have a look.
You are in a battle zone.
Yes, I know. So he said that. That's Cole coming back. Hope things are going well in the battle zone. When you're ready, speak to me again. So
Your map shows
the next
which points are controlled.
mission is tower control. So he's asking if we could use them. So this would be going back to the ships. But what I'll do is show you the battle zone first, because that's just
The overall
so we will head out to this side without many people in it. Now there are problems again. Pathfinding is one of them. You might find your officers get snagged on scenery. But the idea of this is there's 3 tasks which can essentially help fend off the Voth. I'll see which ones look interesting. But the zones reset every so often. So this is the idea. You can see the big shiny arrows pointing you to the different things. So you can also see dinosaurs. This was one of the ideas that they came up with. They took the Voth from the episode Distant Origin and decided, yeah, that's okay, sort of descendants from dinosaurs are one thing, but surely it'd be more fun if we had actual dinosaurs with freaking laser beams in their heads. So this one,
You are at a generator point.
what we've got to do is get this block here moved to the end. Now, the thing is, I'm on my own. And I'm not that well built.
Stop the Voth from activating their own console and pushing the device back.
So, whether I can definitely on some other else do this, but I can't guarantee that I will be able to complete anything. I suppose I see how badly optimised this character is. So, if not, I will drop out eventually and show you some of the others. So you can see this thing starts moving, and there. A speed boost device. But Voth will appear, and they'll try to do similar. They'll try to switch on stuff to move it back. Possibly they could have made this better by introducing some sort of balancing element, you know, depending on how many people are in a zone. There are ones that do that. Oh, we might have some assistance, or nope. Maybe we might have another player helping. There's some Voth that have appeared. So we might have to occasionally press consoles, because has it stalled? It has stalled, so but there's lots of things, you know, it's not just the main missions, there are little sub things that come in here as well. Yes, it is quite weird to see other players running around, but not a bad thing. So yeah, that's just it. You just got to... A Voth can come and access a console, and that can sort of push it back, so... Well, hopefully we're nearly there. Usually we'll find the number and strength of enemies builds up a little. But as things go, this one's gone quite smoothly. What I then have to do is check to see what some of the other parts of this area are looking like. And that looks like we're there. So we get some bonus marks for that. That's one secured. Right, I think we will go to this next one, because I can see something over here, and these ones are usually quite entertaining. This is the artillery point. You can also do things like, say, I don't know why I'm doing this, because the artillery points are usually quite popular for people to pick up, so there's every chance I'll miss it. The idea of that is that there is artillery firing. So you can see a big gun there. And what we've got to do is switch it off.
You are at an artillery point. Deactivate groups of consoles powering the main generator for the artillery.
However, I've got a whole of special ops guys jumping me for no
Each
reason.
console will be repaired 3 minutes after it is disabled.
This is where the artillery points get tricky. Because what you've got is you basically got 3 minutes until these things reset, plus respawning baddies. So the idea is that you should be doing this with multiple people. But I have, again, I'm doing this more as a demo. Whether I will shut one down or not, I don't know. But it's more just to give you a taste of everything. My ideal would be that we do actually see a zone takeover, because when you take over a zone, you then have to fight a giant genetically engineered T-Rex. And who doesn't want to see that? But there is a mission much further down the line that shows you the T-Rex, so hopefully you won't miss out on it. Now we might have to do a couple of laps round as generators start unresetting. making fairly good time. He says not checking his watch ever. Ever hopeful for someone else to come in and help me out, but like I say, you can't always. He's just probably one of the trickiest ones to solo. Just because of the timed element. Again, I think they could kind of do, they can sort of detect how many people are in an area, because they do. And some types they'll actually bump up, there's a particular one who will bump up the number of opponents, the more people who are in an area. So I think extending the time would have probably been a fairly good idea. Or allowing you to skim through it, but I suppose they were at the time really trying to push to get people working together and in teams, which, like I say, the player base didn't entirely decide to play along with. Let's see if we can get this to 5, or will it take us just a bit too long to get this one down? Oh, let's see. Yep, we got it, and what we'll now see is a Voth reinforcement coming in. Which is this kind of battle suit. That's the other thing the Voth have, is battle suits. Now if they've got that shield up, there's no point. That's a shield that covers all of their front. Something you didn't see because we only really fought smaller Voth craft. But some of them have these impenetrable shields that kind of come up for a while, and but they only face in a single direction. Sometimes you'll see these swarmers appear as well. It can be quite annoying. Upshot is, if you are wanting Dyson marks, you know, you can accumulate them very quickly in this battle zone now. Not much effort at all to do that. Right, come on, Vex. No lollygagging. Now. Yeah, I think. Just looking at the map. I think that's the third type, so I want to actually aim for there, I think. Possibly, that looks like another artillery point. That's the transporter. There is a sort of teleportation system that can get you to other parts of the you know, into like the different zones, because this is just one of them. There is a park, a city. Again, I might spend a little time showing you some of these things. Oh yeah, this is the third type, so this one's arguably the dullest.
You are at a capture point. Stand in the center to hold the air.
So quite simple in this one. You stand here until
Any bot in the center of the capture point must be defeated to hold the point.
Until basically the thing clips up. What you do have is this added thing of the artillery blast. You might see these red circles appearing. That's artillery coming in, so you have to keep moving. And this is by far one of the most boring ones. Where's our capture? Yeah, I see. I don't think there's many people in. We might not see. Might not see the genetically engineered dinosaur. What I'm going to try and show you is a couple of things that come in here. Like I say, I might not complete the whole thing because these do. This is, like I say, fairly tedious. It takes too long. Again, with a big group it can be quite entertaining, but with this it's just effectively standing in one place. Well, every so often opponents kind of fly in. I do like to keep an eye on the park just in case. I was going to show you some of the other areas because there are 3 of them. just with a slightly different, all with a similar aesthetic. You probably don't need to show you all of them. I think with how I've decided to do this I probably wouldn't, but theirs is getting attacked by a dinosaur or something, I don't know. Good one to do if you've gone for an engineering build and you've got turrets. It's quite a good area for that because your turrets all... Oh, here's one of the things, again another exosuit. This one's got the neat feature of this screen that pushes you back, so it's one for kind of taking this type of zone. Of course he's pushing out of the targeting path of his own artillery, but that's probably neither here nor there. And that's annoying because we are going to get attacked with swarmers as well. Oh, I might get taken out, yep. But we did also destroy that, so I'll punch up and respawn. So yeah, that's kind of the battle zone. Such as I will show you a couple of the other areas just so you've got an idea of what they look like, because that was the park area. And we also have a more city-styled one, so again, this one actually had quite a lot taken. So again, similar idea, exactly the same challenges you can see there, same things, just slightly different aesthetic to the area. And we will go and look at one more, and then we'll do this tower control. And then I'll hopefully see what I'm going to try and do, but I'm not entirely going to make promises. It's kind of how I proceed next depends on how quickly I can get these missions, the unexpected friend one, unlocked, and so again, more of a city look to this one. How quickly I can get these unlocked, and how much I've got, for want of a word, saved up in episodes, because what I will probably, I put it in before I started recording. I actually did start my my reputations on this, but I can't really just wait for it to come round, so so what we've got to do in this one is there are these tower areas. Now you might have noticed this when I came in here, that there's these tower facilities. Now what I'm looking for is one that's not under control, because basically I've got to defeat Voth around the towers. Now the thing is, they will not be around the tower if it's under our control. So at the moment we've only got the allied zone one. Hopefully a couple of them are going down. It's just, can I get there before all the players get there to restore it? And this is where it can become a bit irritating if you're trying to do a mission which is specifically saying, you know, yeah, I think someone just recaptured the Voth front tower, so let's try for the allied zone one. But again, with the big zones, it's entirely possible that by the time I'm there, some of them are captured. So what I am going to do is keep an eye out on the others, just in case one of them starts ticking down, and I can effectively jump in and poach it. I've just got to defeat a certain number of Voth ships, but they've got to be around the tower. And the thing is, if you go in alone, you will get absolutely curb stomped. You can actually see in that tower, that thing at the top's red, whereas the rest of them are blue. But I suspect there will be other players heading out this way as well, and some of them will be faster than me. I don't think I can use my... No, you're under normal rules as well, so you can't... Yeah, I think I saw a flicker there of another player. That's just censory. Because like I say, some players are massively overpowered. The trick, if you're wanting to do this mission, what I've found helps is go for... oh, the industrial area is gone as well. We just passed that, but if this one's got a whole load of allied ships around it, I will Just see if some Voth ships. That's looking promising. I don't want to really take on a bulwark battleship. What to do is go for frigates because they're small. So, and again, cluster munitions, the torpedoes, full spread, all these things are ideal because you quite often will get something for destroying those ships later. So that's got 10%, but obviously I'm now taking a kicking because I'm the only one here, so I'm just trying to do as much damage as possible. In the hope that I can also claim some kind of stolen credit for destroying another one. Ship flying for as long as possible. So I brought that assist ship in. The hope is it can actually still very much focusing on the frigates. That's me at 40%, not bad. Where was the Allied Zone tower? There it is. So this is just it. I've just got to basically throw myself at this tower. That sounded a lot like... I think that was just that ship. So again, I'm looking for the frigates. Oh, someone else is in there by the looks of things. Just trying to destroy him. See him focusing on the frigates. And this is roughly what I'll be repeating until that figure gets to 100. There's someone else has come in. We'll see if their renewed attack will help me in any way, shape or form if my figures will go up. Sometimes it'll credit me with them, sometimes it won't. You just kind of have to see. But they're definitely doing some damage, and yet some of my counters going up, so that's quite often that's why I recommend doing your fires at will, is because sometimes if I've taken a lot off those, as was at 80%. Just get this and even the assist on the bulwark. Don't know if we both get credit or if it's but regardless, I then only have to find one frigate to destroy, so there. In fact, there are some reinforcements. I'm just going to accept that mission because I've become their whipping boy. I also want to try and show you something, because if we manage to capture this tower and get the overall control up, there's another little thing that comes in. But you can see this could be quite frustrating again. And similarly, if you were trying to get all these done, it could then get quite frustrating if you're trying to destroy ships and someone else comes in who's way more powerful than you and just keeps swatting them all out of the way. It's always annoying when the game switches to targeting. It's usually with something cloaks. I'm guessing the Olympic got a kicking as well. We'll see if it returns. Don't know if it respawns in exactly the same place. Yes, there it is. Because if we can get control of all these towers, then it basically triggers an event where some big Voth ships come in. The other reason which I would say to go for the frigates is because sometimes you can just make your life easier by removing a few sources of fire. Now there's, I mentioned that repair ship there it is. So that's the thing to always watch out for. These repair ships that come in. So yeah, this is kind of the Dyson sphere thing. Now, there's lots of other things. There's missions that'll usually involve you scanning stuff or controlling or doing other such things, but it's quite a fun area. Again, a good area to build up marks, just practice some things, even practice working with other people potentially. Again, I suppose if you did have a crew that you wanted to come in, this is a good place to take them and potentially do things. Oh, the Droth Dreadnought groups have been here. This is the problem. I didn't even notice them coming in. Let's see if we can see one. As always, the indeterminable thing of how long it takes to fly everywhere. So while we're flying in here, I will say thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I was going to tell you, yeah, so reputation-wise, you can see there is a Dyson reputation. Now, I've got to get it up to there, which is 100 reputation points. I'm currently sitting at 25,000. So, 5 increment marks. That's 100 divided by 5. It's something. 25, I think it is. Yeah, 25. So, I've got quite a way to go. 10, yeah, about 15 more. There's the dread. So what you have is these groups of these big dreadnoughts, and the idea is you can then attack all of these, although they will go for me because I've just flown into their range. But I do quite like these. The only thing with the game is when you look at something like this, you've got to wonder how many Voth. You know, they can throw 4 of these every 10 minutes or so. You've got to wonder how many Voth they're sending to their death. But it's weirdly enough not even the biggest Voth ship you'll actually encounter. So that's that. So I hope you enjoyed this little view of the Solony Dyson area. Like I say, hopefully I will be able to get the next part of the story continuing when this is finished. I managed to get all the things done. If you want to comment in the comments box is the easiest way, or you can get me on Blue Sky at Pyman70, or on Mastodon, although I don't check that as much, at Mistedin Social, Pyman70 again. There's lots to see in the channel again. We also have Mitten's doing the Defiri arc, so there's that going on, and there's hopefully going to be a few more things on it. It's got some things in the pipeline. But all that remains me to say is thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you in the next one. But until then, bye for now.